We're so lonely.
Y esa silla no se la más.
No.
Do you need my report?
Yes. If you're ready.
Well, good afternoon, professors. My name, as you know, is Felipe Villalón, and I will present you my research project, which is related to parental involvement in a student's academic results. First of all, it is important to mention the considerations taken into account to develop this study. This study was mainly focused on the empirical considerations, and also because of the analysis produced and the creation of a diagnostic test or report, in which it was analyzed the mission, vision, and the educational project of the school. And in that part, we can see the relevance that parents have in the educational process of the students. And also, for example, it was seen this. And here, as you can see, there is a tree inside the classroom, in which there is a tree with different leaves, and in each leaf there is a commitment from the parents during the year. For example, in this case, 2016. Then after this analysis, we can produce a research question, which in this case is what is the relation, if any, of parental involvement and the academic results in terms of grades of Chilean secondary EFL students. And also the research objectives, the first one to illustrate the involvement that parents have in the academic process of Chilean secondary EFL students, and the second one to relate the students' grades with the involvement that parents have in the involvement of parents in the academic results of Chilean secondary EFL students. And because of the nature of this study, it was necessary to develop different assumptions. But the main one was the greater the parental involvement, the better the performance of students in terms of grades is. This assumption was developed after the analysis of different studies, but mainly taken from the ideas proposed by Fan and Williams in 2010, that proposed that parental involvement has strong positive effects on 5 different students' outcomes, which include and are related to this study, to self-efficacy and intrinsic motivation. Then we have the theoretical framework, and as you can see, we have a conceptual map with the 2 main variables: the academic results that it can be seen in grades, which is developed by Nocali, Bockmark, and Botruba-Dorsal in 2010, and parental involvement, which is recognized as a variable of parental involvement by Williams in 1998 and Child Trends in 2015. And the main ones that can be seen are general meetings and homework or tasks. And developing these ideas, we can produce a conceptual definitions in order to understand these 2 main variables. First, we have the parental involvement, and second, the grades or the academic results. Do you need that I read the conceptual ideas? But in simple terms, parental involvement is the participation that parents have in the process of learning of students, and the grades are attached to the level of success of achievements that students accomplish. That can be seen, for example, when being promoted to the next grade, or also in the data contained in the classroom. which is one of our sources of information. In the methodological framework, we need to develop this study according to different techniques, and in this case a paradigm which is mixed, because this study develops has characteristics from qualitative and quantitative. As Creswell 2003 proposes, data collection involves gathering both numeric information as well as text information. In this case, we are going to use the interviews, and in the case of numeric information, the data collected from the classroom. So the final database represents both quantitative and qualitative information. And also, the category of this study is interpretive, and in terms of design and procedure, we take characteristics from narrative and ethnography. In the first part, we have narrative, which is a collection of qualitative methods, a focus on close observations of social practices and interactions, as it was proposed by Asher and Miller. And in terms of narrative, we use the interview as a material, and in this type of research, the author focuses on single individuals, describing part of the individual's lives. In this case, the development that parents have in the academic process of students. As I said before, the main material proposed in this study is the uncontrolled internet, in which students and parents tell part of their lives or their process or their life in the process of learning. And these materials are addressed to an 11th grade class of Colegio Maryland, a subsidized school located in Puente Alto, Santiago. And also it is important to mention that they have monthly general meetings in which parents must attend in order to get information about the process of students. And in order to analyze this data, the main aspect we have to use is triangulation, in which the information obtained by the researcher is validated, and the patterns in order to look for important information that is repeated. In the considerations of trustworthiness, we have the credibility that is important in order to have the real ideas, the real feelings that participants have. For that reason, it is important to develop the interview in order to obtain real information from the main participants. In dependability, it is important, this aspect, because we need to the process that we develop must be validated also by different people in order to confirm that what we are doing is correct. And transferability, it is important because we must follow all the aspects, all the procedures in order to develop a correct research, and it can be done by other people following the same steps and concluding the same aspects. And finally, the expected outcomes The expected results, as it was stated in the assumption, is that clarify and confirm that there is a relation between parental involvement and the academic results of students. So, doing this, parents will be aware that it is relevant that their involvement during the process of students, during the process of learning. And in terms of limitations, in this case, it is important to take into account that this is a long study because it needs the interview for each of the participants of the study. And that's it.